for the fiscal year that just ended as of June 30. It's a report on the resources and investment, on goals and outcomes, progress towards providing affordable housing, demographic composition of individuals and families assistance, and citizen participation efforts. In the program year that ended June 30, we received for last year's CDBG program a total of $389,046. We expended during the program year almost double that, $703,800. And the way that occurred is that each year there is typically carryover money that goes from year to year. Just by way of background to remind people in case they've forgotten, uh, in 2022, when we began that year, city had almost $2 million in CDBG funds that had been stacking up as a result of the fact that the program was frozen and the city wasn't able to expend any money. We typically, each year, the recipient city, in this case, City of Benton Harbor, is expected to spend um, some 80% of their funds that they have available to them. It took us several years to bring that amount down, and this actually represents the last of that money that we had that was carryover. And part of it was represented by an amount we had set aside to demolish some housing units. You may recall from the very beginning we had set money aside, but we went through several efforts at trying to get bids for demolition that did not come in where we could work with them, and finally we did. So in this past year, we demolished 10 units with CDBG funds and another five that was financed by money that we got from the Brownfield Authority, $170,000. Um, that made a pretty good impact on the city in terms of the number of units that we took down. On our goals and outcomes, first, expand and improve public infrastructure. Goal was assistance to 9,375 persons assisted in the low mod areas, since the entire city, except for two small areas, is considered low mod. That basically is the entire city. And as I mentioned, housing rehab, we had set a goal to do 5 units. We did 6. Clearance and demolition, as I mentioned, we demolished 10 buildings using CDBG funds and providing public services to LMI and special needs group. Uh, our goal was to assist 300 persons. We assisted 499. Persons assisted by race, ethnicity. The number of persons assisted by CDBG activities where race, ethnicity was recorded, 505 people. Caucasian, 69, or 13.5%. Black African American, 436, which is 86.5%. 505 non-Hispanic. Households assisted with affordable housing. The city leverages CDBG funds with other funding sources to complete housing rehabilitation projects. The number of households served through the CE program was 6. Owner-occupied housing rehab, 6 low-mod income households. Income levels for home program, reported income, extremely low income 4, low income 1, moderate income 1. That made up the 6. Citizen participation, the keeper was made available to the public for a period of 15 days between September 9th, 2025 to September 25. The public hearing is this evening, September 24 at 5:30. Keeper is available on the city's website. Uh, how can you participate? Comments are accepted during the public hearing or may be submitted to the Community and Economic Development Department by email to adel@vhcity.us until 5 p.m. on September 25, 2025. The paper will be submitted to HUD on or before September 27.
Thank you, City Manager.
Okay, if there are any questions or
Is there
comments,
any questions from the community on this public hearing for the caper? Going once, going twice. Representative Edwards.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Little. Go ahead. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Little. One question on the number. Where it says the goal is to assist 9,300. Then the outcome says it gives the same number.
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding that as far as the outcome, because some questions would be, and we hear it a lot, well, why my street is not fixed. So my question to that number, again, correct me if I'm wrong, by just looking at that, you would say, okay, every household, every resident has been. But in that case, I would say that was our outcome. But with the process being as it is, as you, some funds were delayed, our goal would have been met, or even more, the percentage even higher, because of the the outages or whatever, delays that are beyond our control. So I would say that those numbers are consistent to what we would hope to be. If I'm wrong, you'll explain it better. Thank you.
You asked a very good question for clarification and understanding. Programs like housing rehab are very specific to the owners of those properties, and that is who is considered to be the beneficiary. But programs like doing sidewalks, demolition across the city and so forth are presumed to benefit every citizen in the city. CDBG doesn't get enough money to really repair streets, so we don't do that. But if, in fact, we were, that would be perceived the same way as benefiting not just the people that live on the street, but the entire city. And in fact, we used to, in the early part of this, I think when the program that we took over when we started, part of what we had to clear up was a couple of programs that had done streets previously. But that was the last time they used CDBG money for actually doing streets.
Thank you, Mr. Little.
Any other questions pertaining to this public hearing? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Little, for your presentation.
Welcome,
Definitely
sir.
appreciate you. I do want to recognize Mayor Hightower for being here, former Mayor Ben Harbor. He let us out of receivership, and I do want to thank him for being here today. And also Mayor Verge Bonero, I think it is, from Lansing, also being here. We also appreciate you for being here today. All right. And Commissioner Henderson, I think I see Commissioner Isom. And thank you for being here today. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. She's in the corner there. Commissioner Henry, thank her for being here, for her part that she plays in City of Ben Harbor. Thank you. Next, we'll have a presentation on drone technology. Are they here today, or? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. I'm not a drone expert, so I'm one of you. Although I'm a former municipal leader, I know what it is to try to be aware of and stay on top of technology before it impacts our cities. And that's what I want to talk to you briefly about, and then I'm going to turn it over to Drew. This is Drew Kenning from HoverSafe. They are the experts. But I want to tell you how I view this as a municipal leader. If I put my mayor's hat on, technology is always advancing, and a lot of it's over my head. That's a pun when it comes to drones. We've heard a lot about drones, the drones in New Jersey, that people wondered what was going on. It seems like every day there's another story about drones doing something in some community, and people scratching their head and wondering what's going on. As municipal leaders, you can think about other technology that has impacted us. I think about Uber when it came to my city. I think about the Lime scooters that suddenly appeared on our streets. I think about Airbnb impacting our neighborhoods. So this technology, we can't get away from it. We can't bury our head in the sands. It is coming. And one of the things that's happening is drones. They are coming to a city, to a community, to a neighborhood near you. They are coming to Benton Harbor if they're not here already. And so what can we do as municipalities to be on top of it, to make sure that we're putting in effective regulations? And maybe, I think about it as PPP, prepare, protect, and prosper. What if we can actually prosper from this? What if we could find a way to monetize it? What if we could find another revenue stream? So, of course, safety and being aware of it, but also trying to harness the technology for the good of the city. And the way to do that is to be on top of it and not wait too long before they're already here. And so at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Drew Kenning, one of the co-founders and CSO, Chief Strategy Officer for HoverSafe. Drew?
Thank you, Virgin. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate this. This is an incredible opportunity and a brand new movement of technology and mobility. My background is in real estate, focused on real estate development, condos and apartments. And I came across this opportunity about 2 years ago. You know, at the simplest form, what goes up has to come down. And in every town, there needs to be a landing zone. There needs to be rules and jurisdictions and regulations. The FAA has made it very clear that each city is in charge of their rules. The same way you park a car in each city, you know, whether it's Chicago, Cleveland, or Benton Harbor, you're going to have different permits, different fees, and different times of day that, you know, Amazon, FedEx, or UPS can come in. So with my background in real estate, I partnered with two Marine Corps aviators, Michael Middleton and Marty Fisher. Both flew President Bush and President Obama in Marine One helicopter, and they led aviation for the White House. So we're taking a real estate expert and two top Marine Corps aviators, bringing to your city as kind of a turnkey solution. We want to be your outsourced drone department, allowing you to understand what the rules and regulations are and the preferences that you as a city have control of. So how high they can fly, where they can land, where they can take off. Our number one focus is keeping everyone safe and the quality of life at the topmost priority. Number two is let's create a new revenue stream for you. Let's monetize the air above this town, and let's identify certain landing zones that are safe for citizens, and the land you already own, create that as a new playground. In the short term, we focus on helicopters, helipads, economic development, and activating those locations that already exist. In the long term, we want to create the playground, the map, the rules, regulations for drones, air taxis, and what's called advanced aviation. This new sector is AAM, Advanced Air Mobility, and it is literally taking over, whether you're ready or not. So we're the neutral party in this new wave of mobility, delivery, and technology. And the Amazons, the FedEx, the UPS, they're going to come in very quickly. And they do not want you to be organized because that means more fees and more hassle for them. So we want to make sure that you're prepared, you're protected, and you're monetize your space as much as possible. So think of us in the simplest way as the DMV of the sky. right? We want to create all the rules and regulations, keep you protected, and hopefully make some money along the way. So I'd love to go into some more details and put a proposal together and talk about our business in more detail. So thank you.
Is this happening in any other city around, say, a 2-hour
Absolutely.
radius?
Battle Creek is maybe the third most targeted location for drone and air taxi takeoff and landing. So a ton of federal funding is actually going to this space. So Battle Creek, the University of Michigan actually got a ton of funding as well. But as far as just advanced aviation, the two, I'd say, hour radius, you have South Bend, you have Chicago, you have New Buffalo, all being activated for air taxis and delivery drones.
When you say delivery drones, could you be a little bit more specific of what's happening and
Yeah.
what would it mean for the city of Benton Harbor to be a part of this?
Yeah, so a delivery drone is the Amazons of FedEx, the third-party operators. They're going to send a 5-pound package or less to your backyard or designated locations. Some cities have an Amazon locker. You get a code, you plug it in, your package is waiting for you. Drones are now going to take that from a last-mile delivery into those locations. So outside of your city, they're actually calling it fast mile. They're going to have drop-off locations, pickup, and then they're going to come into a location, if you have rules or not, and say, here's where we're dropping off your package. So it's smaller, below 10 pounds. Air taxis are going to start flying people. They're already flying in 3 locations around the U.S. right now. By 2028, they're going to fly in L.A. for every airport going to the Olympics. So it's happening very, very fast.
So what HoverSafe is offering is, in a sense, to be your outsourced drone department to help you prepare and manage all of this aviation activity that's going to be happening in and around your city. And there is an aspect of, if you build it, they will come, that if the city really opens its arms to the technology, then you're inviting more economic development in this emerging field. So I look at it as a double positive in that you're or a double-edged sword, if you will. For cities that ignore it and hope for the best, it's coming, and you may or may not like what comes. But if you get ahead of it and manage it, and then invite it, then you can help to determine where those things are going to be placed and so on. And then they have to deal with you. I think back to our franchise fee that we have in place in Lansing with AT&T. We negotiated a franchise fee for cable, and it was one of the most lucrative in the state, and it's still in operation today. That franchise fee was grandfathered in when the state came in and changed it. Later, they grandfathered the cities that had already done it. And that fee today, you can check it, is generating like $350,000 to $400,000 a year for the city of Lansing. So sometimes getting in on the ground floor and getting ahead of the curve, pays its dividends. And again, we've seen where technology will run amok if allowed. But you have an opportunity here, I think, to get ahead of it. So when you ask about, that's a good question, Mr. Chair, about how many cities have done it. You would still be on the cutting edge, not the bleeding edge, but you would be on the cutting edge of cities that are jumping in with both feet to get ahead of this and take advantage of it for your residents.
What about public safety? Is there a possibility not only for it to drop off like prescriptions or somebody needs medication
Yep.
But what about public safety? Because I know they're using drones now for public safety aspects.
You're absolutely right. So a company called Skydio is pretty much a drone in a box. We integrate with those companies. We're agnostic to every other company that operates and manufactures drones. First responders are creating corridors for crime and accidents, so they can fly a drone on immediate access and get there as quick as possible. Cities like New York have a 20-mile corridor in Manhattan. Dallas is a big one as well. So there are a ton of test cases. Today we're working with 30 cities. We were approved by a grant from North Carolina Department of Transportation, and we're expanding to about 40 cities by end of year. So this is happening, and they're all joining our platform pretty quickly. On top of that, we work with Esri Mapping, so we're fully integrated with GIS mapping experts. We're building an aviation layer on top of a map system you probably already use. So really creating those hot zones.
Mr. Chairman, I might add is something that city manager and my public safety department have a great deal of interest in. We've talked about this before. We currently have a drone and anticipate getting a larger drone to facilitate some of the public safety activity. But as they're mentioning, there's also the potential here for a revenue opportunity if we're controlling our airspace and allocating it to companies that want to use it, like Amazon and whomever else. So we're going to be involved with staying on top of this and staying in touch with them on it.
Thank you, City Manager. Commissioner Warren.
So this is, a general overview of what you're saying, but how can we get more detailed information? I don't see any literature in my packet, so are you going to bring that, or is there a website? Because I would love to know. I could probably ask you a million questions. I know you don't want that, but I would love to know some more information, even cost.
Yep.
So when can we get that information?
We can get you as soon as possible. I'm going to send you a bunch of materials, an example proposal with other cities we worked with. It then outlines the scope of work, timeline, everything. So we're your turnkey outsourced drone department. But all the details from our website, our proposal, and our team will be set there.
Commissioner Edwards.
Our average.
Yes. Sorry. My question, along with Commissioner Warren, I don't want to get too far, there's a lot of questions, but one, I do have a concern. So we have the rights to the airspace. So they would have to register with us? And if they don't, what is the process as far as, letting them, hey, you can't do that? So how would that work?
Yeah, so there's a key difference, airspace versus air rights. And airspace is owned by the FAA, and they own 1,000 feet and up, right? Airplanes and helicopters and above. Once they get closer to the ground, that's key, right? They have to touch down somewhere in your town, and they have to take off somewhere. So 400 feet and below is your air rights versus airspace. There's still a lot of unknowns as far as who controls what from like a highway in the sky. That's yet to be really determined. But what you control is when something lands and takes off, and it gets close to the ground, about 400 feet. So that is your zone where you can monetize, you can control, and again, where it lands is key. And that's what we're trying to really figure out. It's like parking a car in this town versus somewhere else. You own that space, you own the rights to it and the permits and the fees. So we want to create that model code, so when someone does land, they have to pay those fees.
Yeah, I mean, a crude example, and Drew's used this, I've heard him in other municipalities, about like your parking system. This was always a big issue in Lansing, the parking meters. But the city has the sole purview when it comes to parking meters, where what zone, how much time we give you, all that. It's all city regulation. If you have no city regulation, of course, then people can park where they want. And you can't run around slapping tickets on people if it's not posted, right? But if it is posted, then you can enforce it. And so, there's the comparison here. This is something that we're not used to regulating. It's nothing I ever thought about as a mayor. But now it's coming. And so I don't want to necessarily shut off this traffic. I want to, but I do want it managed. I want to know if a drone's flying, when it's flying, and so on. If I can know that, and you can. And so it's, again, managing and being responsive, because you can imagine the complaints that may be coming in the future when all of this switches. And, we've seen this with other technology. I mean, one of the reasons when the Lime scooters came in, I'm not against Lime scooters, people using scooters, but you can imagine all of those things that now you've got people weaving in and out of traffic. There's public safety aspects. They were deposited all over our streets, downtown Lansing, where people were walking. They were in the public right-of-way, so we have liability. And we tried to talk to the company. Now, we already had regulations in place, right, about the use of a sidewalk. You can't obstruct public right of way. And so we called the company, they ignored us. We picked up all those scooters and held them and charged them to get them back. We said, we'll work with you, but we're not going to have you just come in and pollute our sidewalks. So again, this is unknown. There's a little bit, Drew's answering honestly, of course. There's some gray area. We're encouraging municipalities to take a responsible but robust approach and take the lead like you would in any other area when it comes to protecting your citizens. But again, also look at the economic development opportunities. And I think if you offer that and you work with these companies, and HoverSafe has got some great relationships with the network that's out there, whether it be public safety issues or commerce. And so you have an opportunity, I think, to be one of those trailblazing cities that gets it right.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions concerning this? So the information will be forwarded to all commissioners, right,
Yes, sir.
before the next meeting. Is there any way we can have a conversation with the city manager before the next meeting? Can we make that happen?
We've been in communication, and I'm sure we'll continue, but will it be ready that soon? I don't.
Yeah, we're ready.
Very good. We'll follow up.
I do appreciate it. When is next city council meeting? Is in October, right? October 6th. Hopefully before October 6th we can have some.
We'll have it to you tomorrow.
I like that.
We're not wasting any time on this. So
Sound like somebody I like right there. I do appreciate you coming, and thank you.
thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Also, thank you, Mayor, for being here and taking your time to come down here and to see about Benton Harbor. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
At this time, we have new business. I want. Are you there? I want to say first and foremost, my new business. This is not new business, but Mayor Hightower, if you would come forward, please. We have discussed in several meetings the naming of the park on Pipestone after Mayor Hightower, and I think it is a distinct honor for us to do that. I want it to happen at the next meeting, and I think we've done this twice, and we spoke on your history and your legacy. You were the mayor that let us out of receivership when we had an emergency financial manager, and I do want this to happen so we can give you your flowers while you are alive and not wait until something else comes about. And any other commissioner wants to speak on this, you can please feel free. But I do. We've read his bio in 2 other meetings. And city manager, you have anything you want to add?
Yes, sir. The mayor spoke to me about this too, and I'll be preparing the resolution so that the next committee meeting will have it on there.
Also, Mayor Hightower was very influential in the respiratory program at Lakeland Hospital. He also has done tremendous things. He started at Mercy Hospital. Mayor Hightower, I don't have to give you your own bio, but you can speak if you want to speak on your own behalf.
Well, the first thing I'd just like to say, I appreciate your consideration for something like this. I've lived across the street from that park since 1994, and we've pretty much taken on a role to try to watch over it, take care of it through the years. And I just appreciate your consideration. no one really knows, I guess, and I want to give you all your flowers. No one really knows the sacrifices that commissioner and mayors go through in giving up their time for these meetings and working for the city, because it's not about the pay. It's all about the helping individuals. And down through the years, that's pretty much been my mindset, even from starting a respiratory therapy program when we didn't have one in this area. And,
Do me a favor, Mayor, pull that mic down a little bit so they can hear what you.
oh, can you
'Cause
hear me okay
I
now?
want everybody to know what you've done now.
Well, if I go through the whole thing, I mean, that's going to take a while. But I was on the first open heart team when it came to this area, started at Mercy Hospital. And then later, I started a respiratory therapy program where where I connected with a college, California College for Health Sciences, and enrolled a number of Benton Harbor residents, paid for their schooling. They got their degrees, they got their registry, and many of them went from making, minimum wage to 20, 25, $30 an hour immediately. I worked on the governor's task force, of course, after the 2003 disturbance. And at that time, I worked on about five different committees in terms of lead abatement, infant mortality. We implemented the Barron County Health Plan for people that didn't have a health insurance. And we did a lot of work with females in terms of paying for mammograms and things of that nature. Also set up, it's gone now, but we did set up a house because there was no rehabilitation center for individuals that were coming off of drugs, trying to get off of drugs. So we opened up the Inspiration House. That went very well. It was pretty successful until, till management went under different management, and eventually it closed. But as far as working in the city, the reason I ran for commission in the first place is because my wife told me either I come down here and do something or be quiet. And so I got involved. And one of the things that I did, it was mandatory that the city council had to meet every week. It was by charter. They had to meet every week. My opinion is that they needed time to workshop, to do other things. And so I did write the amendment to the city charter, got it approved by the governor and the attorney general. And it went on the ballot, and citizens approved it. And so now you only meet twice a month instead of every single week. And you had to meet whether you had anything on the agenda or not. And so that was one of the things. And opened back up the Charles Gray Rec Center. I don't know what's happening with that today, but the swimming pool was completely reworked. It's the only Olympic-sized pool in southwestern Michigan. And so with all the water that we have in this area, I felt that it was needful that our children have a place to go and learn how to swim. This chamber, when I was here, we had, when I first came in, we were meeting in a 1941 courtroom. It was over there. 1941 courtroom. And I was convinced that a lot of tension and people being upset or coming down, venting all the time had to do with how the place looked. And so I felt we needed to come up into the, the 21st century. And so work with Abby Marsh to work out this plan and then end up convincing the first emergency manager to spend the money to implement it. He kept us out of here for about a year, but we eventually was able to come in, and it looks nice. I mean, it's something that I believe that the mayor and the commission and the city clerk and and the manager, you need something that looks professional, and I think this is it. I don't have I could go on and on, but I'm not. Uh, Again, I just really appreciate more so for my family than for myself, my wife especially, because she had to put up with me all the time while I was down here, listening to me when I come home after after those intense meetings. But I really do appreciate it, and I love Ben Harbor, and I believe people know that. And I still work, and I'm still available. I'm only a phone call away when you all have questions. And again, I just thank you for the honor. It's truly an honor, not only for me, but for my family. And I appreciate you all. And I appreciate the time working with you all. I know in order to change emergency managers during that period of time, because we were going through some serious stuff, I was able to meet with Mayor Mohammed and Mayor Pro Tem Seeks. They basically came to my office in St. Joe, and we called the state treasurer and laid out the plan. And that was I believe that was on a Thursday. And we came into the meeting on Monday, voted, and on Tuesday, that guy was gone.
Out of here.
And from that point on, we really did begin to turn things around. And so we left. In 2010, we had no money. We couldn't pay fire. We were basically broke. But by 2015, we had $4 million in the bank, and all the bills were paid. And so it was a lot of hard work, a lot of intense conversations. And so I appreciate all the ones that I worked with when I was here, Commissioner Henry, and I've always believed that you have to have differences of opinion to get the best outcome. If everybody's on the same page all the time, then how do you get the best product? And so there's times when we have to challenge one another. And I appreciated that while I was here. And we did do some things that I'm very proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hightower. We do appreciate you. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Hightower. I know most of the time I drive by your place on Pipestone, and we did put up the signs in that park. It always comes to my mind how I got into the politics when you asked me to serve on the legislative board, I believe it was, with Jeffrey Booker. I think it was Jeffrey Booker, Mary Alice. I can't think who the chair was at that time. So I kind of blame you for the headaches for getting into politics. But thank you very much for that send-off. It's good to see this time come and understand it and loving Ben Harbor. It's easy to run away when you're retired or when you say, okay, I'm retired, I can go. But to stay and spend extra time on anything, whether it be a city, your car, whatever, it's got to be love there for it. Thank you very much for your time and service.
Thank you. And again, I appreciate all of you, and my mayor pro tem at that particular time was Sharon Henderson, and I really appreciate her and her support that she gave during that time period, and all of you, and the work that you do now. What you see in the city right now with all of the construction, in fact, I can't even get in my driveway right now. It's wonderful, though, because, at the end, it's going to be great. And that's what we want. And I don't think, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to complain. I could have. I've caught myself a couple of times with the driveway issues, but when I think about how it's going to be when it's done, I just roll with the program. And so with that said, God bless you all.
Anybody else before Mayor Hightower? Anybody else? Well, Mayor Hightower, it's done. We're going to forward it to the full commission, and that vote will be happening at the next meeting. And I do appreciate, and you said that about the meeting. I remember that because we went in some hallways, there was nobody there, and we called the treasurer on the betterment of the people, because what was happening was unfortunate, and we stood together. And it's not the ability just to agree on personality or whatever, but what's best for the people. And we did what was best for the people. And I appreciate your stance, appreciate what you've done, and I look forward to being there. Hopefully we can get a whatever. I mean, I know you got a daughter who can draw. I don't know if you're going to put some art out there or whatever you're going to do, but it's going to be a wonderful thing to appreciate those who went before us, and not people who are asleep, but people who are still alive. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
New business, approval for Habitat Restoration Plan, authorization for Southwest Michigan Planning Commission to execute the plan, utilizes subcontractor GEI Consultants. Somebody here from City Manager, I'll give it to you.
Thank you, sir. We have with us Marcy Hamilton from Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, along with a representative from GEI, Scott, and of course Dane, who works for us downstairs. And they're prepared to go ahead and give a presentation on it. Take it away.
All right. Ox Creek again. We just did this, right? No. So what we approved last time was the overall revitalization plan for the Ox Creek corridor. A piece of that is actually doing the restoration of Ox Creek from Highland to Britain. So this is Scott Dirks. He's with GEI Consultants. He is going to give a quick overview of, kind of starting big picture, and then what the project is, and the timeline and the costs, and give you that information. And ultimately, we're looking for the go-ahead, your approval to pass this on to City Commission on the October 6th meeting, for them to approve us to move ahead with construction. We want to move more dirt, right? We were seeing lots of that going on right now at Hall Park and now Bobo Brazil, and next up is restoring the creek from Highland to Britain. So I'll turn over to Scott, and he'll go through a presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. Appreciate the opportunity to present here this evening. I'm going to go through a couple of slides, and then there'll be time at the end to answer questions and discuss it more as you like. By the way, I'm a licensed engineer in the state of Michigan. My specialty is water resources and habitat restoration work. I lead the project for GEI, but as you may be aware, there's a whole team involved in this project. I'm just one piece. So there's a lot going on, and this is just one piece of a much bigger picture. Okay, so real quickly, just the outline, talk a little bit about Benton Harbor's vision and goals for the creek and the corridor itself. I'll talk a little bit of history about the creek, what we kind of call the bad news, good news. I'll start with the bad news and then move to the good news. And then talk about the project costs and timeline that we're looking for. Okay, so the vision from your own resolution, Ox Creek Corridor, is the vision for the creek and the corridor is that it becomes a cultural, environmental, economic, and recreational asset, providing a beautiful, healthy, safe place where current and future generations can connect to nature and experiences that enhance the quality of life. The goals for the creek, again, this is not our work. This is the commission and planning here in Benton Harbor. But we've taken this as our own goals for the work that we're doing. So goals for the creek, once cleaned up environmentally, to where the creek could once again support fish and wildlife. The corridor itself, or outside the corridor, be redeveloped and become a city asset of beauty, a source of expanded recreational opportunities, and through the development around the corridor, help increase the city's tax base. And then lastly, water quality potentially return back to a level where it can support fish and wildlife, and where kids can play canoe and kayak in the water without fear. All right, as I mentioned, this is just one component of a larger revitalization plan. I won't go through all the elements, but essentially, this is a group, and you can see down in the bottom left-hand corner, the groups that are working together to create this revitalization plan, which is the city itself, Benton Harbor Township, the Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, also known as EGLE, NOAA, which is a significant funder of the restoration work, the University of Michigan, Sea Grant, and there are others that are contributing their time and their effort to this, but this is the main group that's part of developing the revitalization plan. And ultimately, the goals are really what I had mentioned before, which is essentially helping to improve the natural resource of the creek, but at the same time, there are going to be other components, for instance, a trail that's going to go along the creek that's in the planning process right now, and essentially make it, improve the water quality, make it safer, bring people down to the water, and at the same time, help advance economic development around the corridor. So there are a lot of different elements. There's been, again, I'm not going to go into all the details, but there's been a lot of grants to support this work. I'm sitting next to the person who's been responsible for a lot of that work to bring money into this revitalization project. So it's a really amazing effort. Okay, so I'll start with the bad news and move to the good news, and I mean about the creek itself is really what I'm talking about, right? So the creek's kind of had a history of kind of, you know, being down in the valley and out of eyesight, and there used to be a road, Valley Drive, that was literally on the banks of the creek. There were railroad tracks on both sides of the creek. And what has happened is the road was literally demolished in place. So when you go down to the creek right now, there are piles of concrete that were the old road base that are on one side. And then there's two old railroad bridges, and I mean really old railroad bridges, maybe I'm guessing from like 1920s, that are still there, that are rotting in place. As you know, another portion of the project, or the larger revitalization effort, is there are lots of debris piles that are in the valley itself or at the top of the valley. There are a number of manufacturers, industrial sites that also created some pollution sources around the creek that are, again, as part of the larger effort, are being cleaned up as we speak. And the other thing I want to mention, I want to be clear, and this is one thing I'll talk about, you know, as part of the restoration effort, we are going to do everything we can in order to make the creek both wadable and then to be able to kayak or canoe up it. But it's not a big creek. And one of the things about the creek, particularly right in front of Hall Park, if you've ever been down there, is a lot of really soft sediment. So if you step into the creek in front of Hall Park, you can sink pretty deep into that sediment or muck, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to do what we can to try to improve that situation, but there's only so much we can do. Because if you know, when the lake is high or if the wind is blowing, you can actually get water to flow back up Ox Creek. And in fact, it will bring sediment from that direction up. So, like I say, there's some things we can do, but the location of where the creek is and where it falls in relation to the lake, we can't help that, right? So there's some limitations, but we're going to do what we can, both in terms of what we can get done physically and also what we can get permitted. Like there's certain things we'd like to do to the creek that they'd be really hard to get permits for. So we're trying to be mindful of that as well. So the good news, and there really is some really good news about Ox Creek. So one thing is, again, you're probably aware, the fact that it's kind of been ignored is actually kind of a good thing. And what I mean by that, with the exception of Valley Drive and the railroads that are now, the railroad tracks that are now gone, there's no development really in the valley itself, which is a real benefit. And for the most part, with some exceptions, I think going forward, there'll be the trail down there, there'll be opportunity to get down to the creek, and then the development itself can happen around the corridor with this enhanced experience down in the creek itself. And the other thing that we know from our work and from the floodplain already is that that valley, when you get a really, really big event, that valley will fill up with a lot of water. I mean, it'll be 6, 7, 8, 9 feet of water. So it also makes sense not to put buildings down that low into the valley. So that's, to my mind, that's really good news. The other thing that we have seen all through the entire creek is that it's supplied a lot by groundwater. You can actually see along the base water coming into the creek itself. So that means that water tends to be less, or I should say, it's cleaner and it's colder, which is what the fish want and what the bugs that live in the creek want as well. So that's also really good. And then, like I mentioned, you've got a trail that's going to be going in. It's being designed right now. And also, there's still a lot of attention and funding that's going on around this whole effort. So that's the good news. So now I'll try to keep it brief, just talk a little bit about the project. So you can see there circled in red between Highland and Britton. That's the area we're going to work on. And we're mostly going to work on the east side because the west side is where the trail is going to go in. So most of our restoration work is either in the creek itself or it's on the east side. And those debris piles, and I think I have, well, I'll get to that in a minute. First, I'll go through the main points, and then I can show you some pictures of those debris piles and the bridges themselves. So we'll be cleaning up those all that concrete that's on the mostly on the east bank. We'll be pulling those railroad bridges out of the creek. The other thing, if you look down the creek, and there's a picture right here, you can see there's a lot of wood down trees that make it basically impassable, right? So you can't canoe up. It's hard to walk through. We won't be removing all the wood because a little wood in the stream is a good thing. That's how streams function. But we'll be cutting away all the wood that's in the middle of the creek so that the creek is passable. We will actually, I know this sounds kind of crazy, but we're actually going to put some wood back. And that's one of the measures that we're going to be using to try to deal with the fact that we have a lot of soft sediment in front of Hall Park. So if we put wood there and we kind of force the flow to a narrower portion of the stream, it will have the potential to move a little bit more sediment through there. So, I mean, we could literally try to make the stream narrower, but that's one of those things that Eagle, the permitting agency, state permitting agency, they pretty much frown on. So that's why we're not doing it that way, because we don't think we could get a permit for it. But the way we're doing it, we know we can get a permit. And then a couple other things. There are a lot of invasive plant species, and by invasive I mean they didn't start here. They were imported one way or another, and typically, when we say invasive, we mean they don't really have a function for the animals and the insects. That is to say, typically invasive species are not food for the local insects, bugs, birds, and all that. So they, other than taking up space, they don't do anything else for the rest of the natural world. And so we'll be removing those invasive species, and then part of the plan will be replacing those with native species. There'll be wetland plants, there'll be trees, there'll be shrubs, all natives to this area, both to restore the areas that were disturbed during construction as well as the areas where we removed the invasive species. So these are going to be a little bit hard to see. These are part of the plans. So if you look up on the screen, the blue in the middle represents the creek, and then the really dark black areas, those are the debris piles. So we went in and we surveyed those so we know how big they are, how tall they are, and how much material will have to be removed. The edges of the valley, again, it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a bunch of really close together dark lines on the edges. Those represent the valley walls, because you know it's pretty steep on the sides and it's pretty flat in the middle. There's some pictures of those debris piles. So in that shot before, all that black there essentially looks like that. Piles and piles and piles of concrete. And some of the concrete has rebar in it. It's just kind of a mess. And so a big part of our project is just removing that concrete. There's a significant, I mean, like I said, it's the old road, and they basically demolished it in place and just left it. So we'll be pulling that out. Another piece that we'll be doing just above Britain, or just north of Britain, those two in that little inset image there, the two black rectangles are the bridges. So that picture in the bottom right-hand corner, that is one of the bridges. There's two of them. And then the plans there and the little graphic at the top left, those represent how these things were built. So those are coming out. Yeah, go ahead.
Go out with Noah on Friday to look at these bridges to see if we can find any evidence of bats. So we're going to be looking for bat poop on Friday. So wish us luck that we don't find any bat poop in the bridge, because if we do, then we have to probably follow certain protocols and stuff. So help everybody thinking about us on Friday and hope for no bat poop.
So I knew you were going out. I didn't realize you were looking for poop.
Yes, officially.
I wonder how you differentiate between bird and bat. Anyway, so those are coming out.
Well, it's a very lucrative industry.
Yes. Good fertilizer. Okay. And then in that area, when we take out the bridges, we're going to be doing some regrading and basically putting those banks back so that they're stable. And then in all those areas, these are the invasive areas where we'll be doing invasive species control. And some of that is basically cutting things down. Some of it is spraying it with the herbicide in order to kill it. And I will also say sometimes the invasive species control takes a couple of years, because these things, they're there for a reason. They take advantage of any advantage they possibly can. So it's probably a couple of year effort to try to keep them down.
What about the butterflies?
So excellent question. So again, those species, not real friendly to those butterflies and insects that use them, the species we are going to be planting are basically, they're going to be food. We'll be planting food for the caterpillars, and they'll basically be the kinds of species. So for instance, monarch butterfly really likes swamp milkweed, and we'll be planting swamp milkweed through that entire corridor. So we're trying to be, I guess, butterfly friendly, fish friendly, butterfly friendly, insect friendly.
Thank you. All right, and
I can jump ahead. I mean, this is us cutting the wood. These are a few more details. There's debris piles. I want to kind of get, these are the species that I'm talking about, the things that we're going to be planting.
yeah, because I think you're gonna have to do this whole thing over again on the next meeting. If
Oh, okay.
I mean, because they're gonna ask questions. I mean, on the 6th.
On October 6th?
Yeah, they're gonna definitely ask questions.
Okay, we can.
So I mean, I don't want you guys have to suffer the beat down tonight and suffer the beat down again on, because they're definitely gonna, and then there's people gonna vote no matter what. So, if you can just get to the good part.
Yeah. I just want to mention one thing. This slide, the one in your packet, this has been updated from that. So if you want a copy of the most recent budget, we have it up here. So it is different than what's in the packet, and we'll make sure we send that out.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is just a breakdown of costs.
All grant funded.
All grant funded, right. And so, I mean, most of the cost is, the mobilization and wetland access, we actually have to do that in a way that we actually have to put down mats in order to not kill the wetland that we have to cross to get to where we're working. The debris cleanup, that's actually removing all that concrete. It's kind of expensive. I got to take it all to a landfill. And then you can see there invasives and large woody debris, the cutting of the material in the creek. The restoration piece, we got $125,000 for putting some wood back, doing the grading, and then on top of that, another $41,000 for seeding and planting trees. And I've got a maintenance cost in there. Again, that is to try to keep the invasives down, but also try with everything that we planted to make sure that we keep it alive during that period. And then there's a piece for us, for GEI, to essentially administer the project, deal with change orders, deal with the contractor, that kind of thing. So the subtotal there, is about $584,000, all complete,
All grant funded.
all grant funded.
So there's no way Mr. Little's gonna have his hands on the money or anything like that, right? Commissioners.
Well, I can't speak exactly, but yeah, no, that's,
There's no commissioners gonna have a checkbook or get a cell phone from it or get a car from it or
no. And
gas money for it or food from it, anything, right?
that's correct. And in fact, once we get bids back from contractors, if they're over, we'll have to manage it so that it fits the grant budget.
So we don't have to follow the money. The money's already followed.
I will take care of the money.
There's no skullduggery. There's no anything that's corrupt going on. Are you sure?
I am.
As a matter of fact, one thing I wanted to point out is this is being handled just like we worked with Whirlpool when they've gone over the plans for the parks, and then they go ahead and do it all and finish it up for us. That's exactly how this is going to function. They will take and meet all the requirements, get the assistance from other contractors or whatever they need to accomplish this. And there's been a small army of technically knowledgeable and experienced people working with this stuff to help make sure that it's being done in the best way that it can to ultimately achieve the objective we're trying to do. This is just the beginning steps of it. This will be going for quite a while, both at this location, and then next on the other side of Britain. Same time, they'll be getting the debris removal project going after October to try and get a lot of the other junk that's along the valley walls and so forth out. And there'll be a lot of activity going on in here for quite a while.
You guys being fully transparent. Everybody being fully transparent about what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt.
Yeah, well, I mean, Whirlpool Parks, they voted no on those too, so we hopefully we can get at least enough votes to get this started.
Dane will be our right-hand man out there in the mud and the water and the weeds and whatnot, helping make sure that everything is being done right.
I wanted to make sure it's fully transparent. Is this meeting on YouTube? All this, can they rewind it on
Full
YouTube?
meeting and all of the slides can be viewed on YouTube.
All the meeting, this whole meeting and all the slides can be reviewed? So they can rewind it and fast forward it and rewind it and fast forward it on YouTube? And all of our numbers are public, right? Any other transparency needed for this meeting? Because, you know, I mean, you hear a lot of stuff that people say that we're not transparent about what's happening in the city of Benton Harbor. But I want to make it publicly known that all these meetings are fully on YouTube. We don't have a meeting that's not on YouTube, do we? All right, so all the meetings are on YouTube, and they can rewind them, fast forward them. If they have any questions, they can call 927-8408, and our numbers are on there. And I do thank you for a phenomenal presentation, and I do ask that you do come back during the meeting. And congratulations for all the hard work. And I know the highway project that they had going on from Berrien Springs to Holland, it was held up for quite a few years because of the butterflies.
Yeah, no, that was the Mitchell Sater butterfly.
Oh.
31.
No, I just meant because of
Wow.
the insects, it was held up. People want to save the insects, and so we want to make sure we don't take anything out that needs to stay there. And so, if we find some bats out there, please let us know.
We will,
Please be fully transparent.
we will.
All right, thank you. Any other questions concerning this?
And I'll just say, if anybody wants to see the full plans, we do have them up here, and we do have the revised budget up here that was on the
They can
screen.
contact you.
They can contact me, Southwest Michigan Planning Commission.
Southwest Planning
Michigan
Commission.
Planning Commission. You got it.
All right, they can contact you if they want to have any other questions.
Yes, Chair.
All right, I'm just making sure we're fully transparent.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions? Anybody? Has anybody asked any questions online? All right. No questions online either. Well, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I think that's about it. You got Commissioner Edwards has something before we close.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and I just felt compelled to say thank you, especially the city commissioners, city manager, and all the staff in this building, even contractors and vendors that I've worked with, especially Marcy, Dane, and a lot of community residents and business. I'd like to thank you for your prayers and your condolences, and some of you checking on me, making sure, I don't have that too much of a space by myself. So it was recently brought up, and a lot of people asked me, but lost my mother in February. 2 weeks later, I lost my daughter, who actually who came here 1 year, I think it was 2017 to 18, and she braided hair for all the girls going back to school. Her plan was to get a building, and she would do it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, free. She passed away of cancer, and during that time, my baby daughter did surgery. That was a fiasco. They treated her 3 years for cancer and find out she didn't. So, and then last month. Lost my granddaughter. Suddenly, she was at home for the summer. She would have been a sophomore at Harvard. So I don't have the time, and it's a good thing because I have 6 other children. So they're calling and they're telling me how they feel. And then the city is keeping me busy, so I don't have time to see how I feel. But it's a good thing, and I thank everyone, and I will be back on schedule. It's one of those things you can't apologize because you didn't ask for it. But I will be back on schedule, talk to my children, family, friends. I love Ben Harbor. That's the bottom line. There's no other reason for me at my age to be here. None of my children live here. One son came here to keep an eye on me. That's it. But I love Ben Harbor. And I love every resident in spite of what their thoughts are. But once again, the mayor, everyone else, thank you very much for your prayers and your condolences. Thank you very much.
Hey, that's our heartfelt sympathies. I can speak on behalf of the mayor's office and city commission. My heartfelt condolences and anything we can do. My grandmother used to say these words. She said, I make no excuse for this that we have, the Lord has provided, and we're grateful. And every little thing counts. And you are part of a great city, and we do have your back, and anything we can do to make it easier, please feel free to let us know. And I do apologize for any insensitive comments that were made or anything that was said. I don't think it was said out of malice. I just sometimes think that some things go back to my grandparents. If you don't have anything good to say, sometimes it's not good to say anything at all. So I do apologize. That being said, I do appreciate everybody who came tonight, took time out of your busy schedule. Thank the city manager.
Thank you,
I
sir.
want to say hats off to you because I know Ox Creek was one of the major things that you were wanted to be the catalyst of getting done, and to see it happening is something major.
Very
And I
rewarding.
want to say thank you to Project T's ribbon cutting. It's coming up very soon. And we will be cutting a ribbon over there on Pipestone. And I know personally, I'll say this, I was in Denver, Colorado, trying to negotiate to bring them back to Benton Harbor. They didn't want to do any business in Benton Harbor. They had the development, and they were building in Bridgman. And people were losing their homes, and all kind of things were happening. And I'm thankful this day that they came back, and to look at this property down here on, am I pointing the right way or the wrong way? That way or this way? No, this way or that way? Wall Street Colfax. That way. To see that building and to see that dirt moving and to see Benton Harbor is looking, and it almost is, it's amazing to see Benton Harbor looking like Benton Harbor's looking after all these years. And this is not, let's kill the misinformation. These are for low to moderate income or for average income of the city of Benton Harbor. This is not for somebody to come in and take over, or some fallacy that's people from Chicago, we're building a building for them. No, that's not true. This is for the residents of the city of Benton Harbor. And to see all these people downtown who are homeless, and we're voting against housing, it's just, I don't know. But my prayer is that one day Benton Harbor will have the city that we deserve, and it's looking good. It's looking good. I mean, when you look at these roads and look at these buildings, look at these houses, look at everything that's going on, it is looking good. City manager.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to pick up on what you're saying there because you're doing a pretty good job of covering the economic development and parks and recreation report. But I am just frankly thrilled and excited with all the activity going on. You go over and look at Modern Plastics that's sat there for the last, I know, 50 years I've been around the area. It's in the process of being torn down and hauled away. As a matter of fact, they're finishing now the roofing on the water plant. They've been getting that out of the way before winter comes in. The job has gotten started on the Bobo Brazil Center for replacing the roof and the windows and so forth there. Martin Park was just done. Work is going on, of course, in Hall Park. The basketball courts been put in. In the next 2 weeks, I think they'll have a grand opening down here for the plaza, which Harbor Shores is doing for us. The weed course is finished and operational and in use. We've had Clement come in, and they've got work going up and over in the Arts District on a number of buildings and projects. As you said, we've got the MHT project going corner at Wall Street here. The waterfront project that we're working on is going on down toward the riverfront. Project T is getting off and going. Wheels are in motion for the highway department in the coming year to get started on Fair Avenue. We've got things going on all over this city. As a matter of fact, Hammond Marsh is right now getting ready to get the plans out and contract work going along Hurd and Emory around Union Park. Union Park has been there for years and years and years and has never had parking. And we're getting ready to put some angular parking on both of those streets.
City manager, you showing out now.
That's all right. It just feels good. And when you go over to June Woods Park, Broadway Park, we just bought those 2 lots. As soon as the contractors move their stuff over there, we're going to put aggregate on that and have a parking to support June Woods Park. So we've got things going all over, and it does feel good to see it happening.
In the words of Senator John Prose, he spoke to me and he said to me these words, and I'll quote him. He said, can you show me another city in the state of Michigan that has this amount of development going on at one time for our per capita of people? And I would say, I can't show you one.
They didn't even list the streets: Pipestone, Pavone, McAllister, Broadway, and Brenton down up at the end. We're getting it done this year.
Can you show me one city in the state of Michigan that has as much development going on at one time? Multi-million-dollar developments, not including what's getting ready to happen over here at Harbor Towers. That's another multi-million-dollar project. Bus, another multi-million-dollar project. Can somebody tell me another city that got this much development that's going on? And it's unreal. But if you listen to the hecklers, they'll say there's nothing going on in the city. But I'm proud of what you've done. I'm proud of what's happening. I'm proud of this commission for getting it done. And these people downtown, I pray before wintertime hits that they have a nice place to stay or a nice place to go, and that we are helping the residents of the city of Benton Harbor, not anybody outside. And if somebody outside wants to come, please feel free. But right now we're adding water customers, we're adding tax base. All this stuff has been added. It is good. City manager, you ain't got to say nothing else. If I was on Coming to America, I drop the mic and walk off the stage.
Well, I'll just take my hat off to the commission for supporting the activity that's taking place, because it takes all of us to do it. And without your support, we couldn't have done it.
Everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you for the presentation. The presentation was awesome. Even the drones, everything tonight, I think is where Benton Harbor's headed and where Benton Harbor's going. And as the Detroit Lions barely won on Monday night, Benton Harbor's going to keep winning every night. Thank you.